You very much appreciate it, General Davis. So I'll do the first round of questions here. I'll get us started. When potential recruits apply to the military, they have to pass through several screens to actually enlist, including a medical screening to make sure that they are healthy enough to serve. Last year, the Department of Defense launched a new electronic health record system named MHS Genesis that is now used in the screening process. The screen is supposed to identify conditions that disqualify people from serving completely. But the MHS Genesis system appears also to be flagging applicants with manageable or long-healed injuries, triggering the requirement for the recruit to obtain a medical waiver before they can actually join the military. One otherwise healthy applicant had to wait an extra 2 months to enlist while she proved that a childhood wrist sprain was not a disqualifying medical condition. And this is not a one-off problem. Data from the military services shows that in fiscal year 2022, 1 out of every 6 recruits needed medical waivers, the highest proportion anytime in the last 10 years. Now, obviously, we want a screening process that catches disqualifying medical conditions. But do each of you agree that it is a problem if our process is creating unnecessary barriers to enrollment? Can I just have a yes from everybody on that? Well, good. A thumbs up. I've got that from General Powers. Everybody's good on this. Okay. I think this is where I want to start this conversation, because recruiters have told the press that this process is making their job a lot harder. And the data seem to back that up. The Navy saw an average time between an applicant's final interview until their first recorded contact nearly double. Army Recruiting Command found that wading through these waivers could add up to 70 days or longer to the application process. The Department of Defense Inspector General verified these delays. Look, it is a problem if it's taking healthy applicants longer to get through a bureaucratic screening process, but it is an even bigger problem if all of that red tape is causing some healthy applicants to drop out of the recruitment process altogether. The Department of Defense Inspector General also recommended that each of the services track medically disqualified applicants to ensure that they're notified of their options to pursue a medical waiver and to better understand the reasons why they may choose not to request a waiver. Each of your commands agreed with this recommendation, but it is not in place for most of the systems. So my question is, when will that happen? How about we'll go backwards this time? General Davis, you want to start?
Thanks, ma'am. The current, Army senior leaders are very aware of this and are currently working on it. Don't have the exact date, but they are absolutely working on it.
That is not my question. Are you working on it? My question is, can you give us an estimate on when we can expect that this will be done? I mean, I hope you notice the irony that I'm asking for questions about delays, and what I'm getting back are delays in answers. Got anything for me, General Davis? Okay, Admiral Walker, how about you?
Ma'am, thank you for the question. I do not have a specific date on when this will be implemented. We continue to look at inefficiencies in our process to try to wring out those inefficiencies so that we can bring more people into the Navy.
Well, you don't have to go find this inefficiency. This one is big and there are flashing lights all around it. I just want to know when you're going to get us the information, just the information, so we can start fixing it.
Yes, ma'am, I will take that back, ma'am.
Okay. General Bowers, I think you have a better answer.
Yes, ma'am. So we actively track our waiver process. All of our Marines are trained how to submit a waiver, how to inform an applicant to go through the waiver process. More broadly, to your question on MHS Genesis and the accompanying health information exchange, the Deputy Secretary of Defense has recently stood up a task force to look at the challenges of implementation. We are all very encouraged by this. We look forward to this task force being completed in February 2024, and we look forward to the results because we need to see action in the field.
Okay, so you've shown us it can be done. You've gotten this part done, right? You're telling me the Marines have?
Yes, ma'am. We aggressively track waivers. We
Okay,
have a
so you're at
waiver
least tracking
section in our operations section at Marine Corps Recruiting Command. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And General Amrine?
And thank you for the opportunity. As far as the process to inform everyone that is initially medically disqualified from MEPS, our recruiters inform them of the opportunity for a waiver so that there is a formalized process to get through and into our waivers division within the Air Force off of the DoD standard. The formal IT system, I think you're from the IG report, we will have in place by January of 21 with specificity on why someone—
January of 24.
24, thank
Okay.
you, ma'am, for the correction. With specificity on why a member specifically disengaged from the recruiting process. Having that said, our Surgeon General within recruiting service has kept a track of those that left the service or left the process during the medical accessions process writ large. And from that, we were able to track the numbers of people that essentially walked away from the process. We don't know exactly at what point they walked away, but we know they did not complete through a full disqualification process, which only the Surgeon General within the Air Force can authorize.
Look, I appreciate that it takes time to set this up, but we cannot afford to lose people who have already demonstrated a willingness to serve. These are the people who say, I want to do this, especially if the only barrier is something that would be quickly dismissed by a medical review. Senator Blumenthal and I sent a letter to DOD about these concerns and the impact on recruiting. We requested answers by October. But DOD claims they can't get answers to our questions for months because they're waiting on information from each of the four of you. So to each of our four witnesses, do you commit to working with DOD to get us these answers by the end of the year? General Amrine.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
All right, I like that. General Bowers.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
All right, good, good. Admiral Walker?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
All right, and General Davis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to hold you to this. There is a real disconnect between the perspective of recruiters on the ground, seeing how this electronic health record system is undermining their efforts to meet our recruiting goals, and DOD's willingness to fix this problem. So if we're going to fix this problem, we need to make sure we're all rowing in the same direction. That was a Navy illusion. All right, thank you. Senator Scott, up to you.
Thank you.